Hello, this is the Who is Your Destined Partner video, and here we have group 1, 2, and 3. So from here 1, 2, 3, and here we have Maryland's cookies, double chocolate chip Maryland cookies, sticky toffee cookie, and white chocolate white chocolate chip cookie. There will be a chance to see the options clearer later. So yeah, I'll leave you to it. Hello group 1, welcome to your reading. The cards you got here are the 10 of Pentacles, the Chariot, the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the 7 of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the Death card in reverse. So here I'm getting with the 10 of Pentacles, I'm getting someone who is family orientated, or they want to have a family in the future. Or they may be very close to their family, maybe even close to their grandparents, or close with elders. They could be someone who is older than you or likely wiser. The other way I'm interpreting this is they may, when you meet, they may want to buy a house with you, or they may already own a house. So yeah, they may already own a place. Another meaning is likely they might have grown up in the countryside, or away from the city. So again, take whatever resonates, leave what doesn't, or you can interpret these cards in another way if you want to. With the Chariot, I'm seeing here someone who's driven and who is someone spontaneous, driven, some may be indecisive as well, with the 2 horses going in 2 different directions. They may like to stargaze with the stars up there. They may be interested in astronomy or astrology. So I'm seeing someone who moves fast towards their goals, especially with the Ace of Wands here. So someone who's passionate about, so they are passionate, especially about their hobbies, or maybe work as well, especially with the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, I'm seeing someone who is driven, who knows what they want and how to get it. They are good at gathering people around them with all the Queen energy here. They are good at attracting people who can help them to reach their goals, like forming allies with people, maybe even a tight friendship. So having close people who are friends. And with the Ace of Wands, with the one wand standing alone, they may like being independent or value their independence, or they may be someone who's maybe more introverted, or just likes traveling alone, or just likes hobbies to do that, hobbies where you work on your own. Then with the Queen of Pentacles here, I'm seeing someone who is very successful at their job. So they may be, if they aren't right now, maybe when you meet or later, they will be very successful at their work. Another meaning could be that they want someone who is financially independent or financially stable, or they will be financially stable and financially independent. So they may also have a pet with the 2 dogs there. With the 7 of Wands, I'm seeing someone who is likely good at some kind of sports, to do with like martial arts, or maybe boxing, or they enjoy watching sports to do with fighting. Or it could also mean that they like to stand up for what they believe is right, even if they have to go against a lot of people, and a lot of people disagree with what they believe. They stand up for what they believe is right. Another way I interpreted this card was that they may have to correct people's assumption about something, or maybe people misunderstand them sometimes, and they have often. So maybe people misunderstand them often, and they have to correct those misunderstandings, or something to do with explaining your way, what's the word? Defending what you're saying, or just clarifying something, or being misunderstood, or assumptions being made, and you having and they're having to clarify it, or correct an assumption. So possibly to do with their ethnicity or their accent, or something else completely. With the Queen of Wands, they may be someone who is very attractive. Again, I'm seeing independence, and with the Death card in reverse. So yeah, with the Death card in reverse, I'm seeing here someone who doesn't have. So usually the Death card will be to do with like transformation and going through something to become something else, like a butterfly, a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. So, and with the butterfly, with the Ace of Wands, maybe they are already the butterfly they are already the butterfly, so they don't need to go through that transformation, or maybe they have already gone through their life journey, or by the time you meet, they will have already gone through their life journey, which explains the success of the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. And the Ten of Pentacles, so being financially stable and able to have what they want and get what they want, and they do seem like someone who will strive towards their goal. So yeah, I'm seeing someone here who will strive towards their goal no matter who they have to battle to get there, especially with the Seven of Wands. So they are a very independent person. They know what they want, and they know, and they if there is no way to get it, they'll find a way to get what they want. So yeah, they may have gone through their spiritual journey or some kind of transformation already, or there isn't much transformation needed. So with the Death card in reverse, I am seeing that I'm interpreting this as everything is right for them already, or will be when you meet. So that is, what are they like? So that's the question I ask when shuffling this. You can interpret this in another way. I'm going to shuffle for the next question, which is what is their occupation? Okay, so the cards that were drawn for your what is your destined partner's occupation? You got the Seven of Wands in reverse, the Magician in reverse, the Lovers, the Ten of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups. So when the Seven of Wands came up upright in the previous bit, I was thinking maybe like a police officer or something to do with law enforcement. But since it's here in reverse, it could mean that so maybe for a few of you, not everyone, and this may not resonate for everyone, it could mean that maybe, especially with the Magician in reverse, since that could be interpreted as deceit. So it could be that they may have a criminal record, or they earned their money illegally, or the way they earned their money meant they had to deceive someone. So yeah, it's like maybe fraud, or tax evasion, or I'm not sure, but keeping money, or earning money through means of deceit, and something that is against the law, likely. But that may not be for everyone, and since everyone's case is different, you can interpret this in a different way as well. It could also be that that's what they did in the past, and they are now learning from that, or they may learn from that and maybe take a different path, especially with the cards that were drawn at first, which did show that they've gone through their spiritual journey. Maybe they've gone through their karma or whatever else. And that they are doing quite well in going towards their goals. So that may not resonate for everyone. That may not be for everyone. That may just be for a few majority who are watching this. Or that may be a completely inaccurately interpreted. That could also be the case. Another way I saw this was overworking. So they may be overworking in the sense of, if they are, because with the magician in reverse, I don't get the sense that they are self-employed. But in the case that they are self-employed, since this is a general reading, they maybe took on more work than they thought they could, or will take on more work than they thought they could. And that could lead to some stress, or maybe their product, because the Nine of Pentacles, I do get a sense of a business or being in the line of work where it's quite popular, if that makes sense. And with the Knight of Cups as well, I am getting someone who's well known to some degree, or their business or their product is well known to some degree. I'm sorry for the noise. So yeah, it could be the case that so they may be supplying their so with this card, Nine of Pentacles, I am getting someone who maybe designs jewelry or designs clothes. Maybe they're a model, or they work in retail, something to do with clothes, modeling, especially with the pose. So I'm getting a sense of someone who is a model. With the flowers, I am getting a sense of someone who makes or sells jewelry. Maybe like a hand model. It's possible that they are an actor, but I am getting more of more of a model with this card. So yeah, I'm back to the Seven of Wands. It could be that they took on more work than they thought they could, or their product is in very high demand. And with the Magician and I think the Seven of Wands, it could also be that they may be having some issues with their work, especially with the global situation. It has led to some people being unemployed, and some businesses going through a lot of issues because of the global situation. So that could be affecting them. Then with the Ten of Cups here, I'm seeing, so with the Ten of Cups and the Knight of Cups and the Lovers, I'm seeing someone who is a marriage counselor, or someone who helps. So because of the Cups being an emotional sign, I did get a sense of a counselor, a therapist, or someone who helps people work through their emotions. And with the Lovers, that could be in the sense of romance, or couples, helping couples work through their issues, helping families, maybe married couples work through their issues as well, with the Ten of Cups, or I think it's home renovator, someone who furnishes people's homes, or maybe I don't get a sense of real estate. I think I'd associate that more with the Ten of Pentacles. So with this cup, I'm getting more someone who is possibly a teacher with the children at the back, or someone who helps people, helps married couples, or helps families work through their issues. So again, there could be a wedding planner as well. There could be an activist with the or some kind of speaker, an activist or a speaker of a sort, like a teacher, should I say, like TED Talks type of things. So yeah, I do get that sense of the Seven of Wands, and with the Ten of Cups, and again with the Knight of Cups, because knights, typically knights go off into war to fight. I am getting maybe someone who works in the army, maybe the navy because of the blue. Yeah, so maybe the navy because of the blue and the water. So again, someone who works with children, someone who works closely with families. Maybe a, what do you call it? I forgot what it's called. Like if like to do with adoptions, I forgot what it's called, like childcare, social services, things like that. So maybe they do work in social services, or helping children in orphans, or people in orphans children find homes to go into. And with the Magician in reverse, I don't get the sense that they are an entertainer. So So if you look at it literally, then I'd say they are not an entertainer, or they don't. Their career isn't leaned towards entertaining. It's more leaned towards other things. That would be what to exclude, I guess. So then the next question I'm gonna ask and shuffle for is, where are they from? And then I think after that is, where might you meet? Or I might do those two together. So these are the cards that you got for where your destined partner will be from. So first of all, you have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the Tower, the Eight of Swords, the High Priest, Seven of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Eight of Wands, the Two of Swords, the High Priestess, and Five of Pentacles in reverse. So many pentacles in reverse. I am getting the sense of a country that may not be so well off. So especially with the King of Pentacles in reverse, so likely a country with possibly like a corrupt government, or corrupt leaders, and again likely not a very wealthy country. With the towers here, I am getting the sense of a country with mass migration. So a country where people like migrate a lot or immigrate to other countries. So it could be the case where of a country where people maybe leave off very often, and possibly maybe just a country where people travel a lot, or a country where people leave because of its condition, because I'm seeing the tower as the country and the citizens wanting to flee from the danger, from the issues in the country. With the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords here, I am getting the sense of a country where feminism isn't widely adopted, or it could be the case of a country where it might be a bit tough for especially for women, or where the laws are like, because with the two women here having to defend themselves, I am seeing a sense of a country where I don't know how to put it, but yeah. Then I am getting religious factors with the High Priestess and the High Priest. With the High Priest, I'm getting a sense of the Middle East. So yeah, this does give me a sense of the Middle East with the High Priest. And this card makes me think more of Greenland because of the grass, especially here. So this makes me think of Greenland. So yeah, this grass here as well. I'm also getting Eastern Europe with this card and this card. So maybe a small village. So yeah, a small village somewhere with short winters or no snow. So for example, in the UK, it doesn't really snow much here. So this could be maybe a place where it's hard to buy land or hard to buy a place. So for example, so an example of a place where it is easy to buy land or to buy a house would be Nigeria. The houses there are quite big and it's quite cheap, I would say, to even build your own house in Nigeria. I think America, I'm not too sure, but I think there's a lot of land to build your own place there. So those are examples of places where, if this card was the right way around. So I think more of like a country where you can easily buy a house or build a land, or build land for yourself. Maybe a country where I'm thinking something to do with like death rates. How the I haven't done geography in so long. Like, is the mortality rate? I'm not sure, but so it could be Eastern Europe. It could be London or a country where it doesn't snow much. So it still could be cold or could be a warm country, but somewhere where it doesn't snow much. A country where it's not that easy to buy land and likely not that easy to buy a house. Maybe you have to work a lot before you can buy a house. Like I said, in some countries it is a lot easier to build your own place. And like homes in Nigeria, for example, you'd have a lot of land as well to have a garden or have farm animals if you want. So I'd say it will be the opposite of that with this card in reverse. And maybe a country with, so to some extent, any country's government can be quite corrupt to some extent. But I'd say it's a bit more extreme with this card in reverse. And if it's not to do with corruption, it's to do with a lack of wealth in the country. Although corruption can lead to a lack of wealth in the country. So with this card, I am seeing more like with this card and the, is that Seven of Pentacles? I am seeing a small village and maybe smaller countries in Eastern Europe. So and Greenland. So with this card, possibly the Middle East. And with this card as well. And if not, so especially with this card, I'm getting a sense of the Middle East. And with this card, I'm getting a sense of Turkey. Or it could be a Christian country. But I do feel more Turkey with this card. So yeah, now I'm going to shuffle for where you're going to meet this person. So this could be a country or a place. One more thing I wanted to mention is with the Tower card. So if it is to do with where a country where people travel a lot, then that could mean so for example in the UK I know people travel a lot to warmer countries. So if it is the case, so it could be the case that rather than traveling because the country is in is the word turmoil. It could be rather because the weather in the country isn't to their liking, so they travel a lot for a more preferred kind of weather. So if it is it would make sense if it is a country like the UK, where it's quite cold often, although it doesn't snow much. So they may be wanting to go somewhere where it is warmer. Because I know there is a lot of travel a lot in, especially in the West, there is a lot of travel going on. So that could also be America, maybe Canada, or again, it could be somewhere where the country, there is some issues in the country, and because of that, people are wanting to get away from those issues in their country. So that could be where your destined partner is from. Hello, group one. So the cards that were drawn for where you will meet your destined partner, you have the Lovers, the Six of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Nine of Cups, and the Two of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. And straight away, I saw a business meeting. So with the Two of Swords, a business meeting where you have an idea with the Page of Swords, a new idea, where you go to them because they have money to give you to help you fund your new idea. So you may meet, so this may be how you meet that person. So they may be the person who gives you the money, or you may be the person to give them money to further an idea, or maybe you meet someone through the person who gives you money to fund an idea. And I'm seeing the children here as your new idea. So like the birth of a new idea, and they're giving money to fund that idea, or you're giving them money. Also with this card, I am getting a sense of Christmas. Although he's wearing green, he does remind me a bit of Santa Claus. Giving children gifts. This could also, to me, represent an orphanage or somewhere where children go to a lot, somewhere where children frequent. So this could be a park, or somewhere where like trampolining. What else is there? Although with this card, so I am seeing piñata. So maybe South America. What else is there? So this could also be a school or a charity event. think I already mentioned an orphanage. Then with the Lovers and the Nine of Cups, I am getting strong Rome vibes. So Italy, especially with the fruit here and the grapes, so wine, and the Lovers. So Italy feels to me like a very romantic place, and so does France. And then with the pineapple, so with the pumpkin, it could be Halloween. With the pineapple, I'm hearing that song. I have a pear, I have a pineapple, I have an apple, pineapple pear, or I think I have a pen. Yeah, I have a pen. I think the song is, I think the singer is maybe Korean. I'm not too sure. He is Korean. Maybe he's Japanese, but I think he is Korean. So you might meet in Korea, or you may, maybe that song plays out when you meet, or you think of that song when you meet, or you both like that song, or something to do with that, or they may be from Korea or from East Asia. And with this woman here, again, I do get a sense of Eastern Europe. So you may meet in Eastern Europe. I am seeing celebration of some sorts, mainly to do with fruit. So it could be in the autumn season. So again, with Halloween, so in the autumn. And another way I'm linking this to Korea is there's this show I used to watch, a Korean show, and there was these triplets. And I remember in an episode they went to squash some grapes. So again, it could be Korea. So it could be at work. It could be at a time where you're alone. So maybe sitting alone at a cafe, maybe so at a cafe, sitting alone, maybe or having a cup of, I don't know, coffee, cappuccino, hot chocolate. Maybe that's when you meet. Maybe you don't realize it's them at first because she's blindfolded. This could be also a restaurant or a pizza place. I'm also getting pizza place. So again, it could be France, could be Italy, maybe something to do with France and Italy. Could be a business meeting where you meet them, maybe a one-on-one business meeting, or could be more than one person, or somewhere where children go to a lot, so a park, or maybe a child's birthday, maybe a friend's child's birthday. What other countries seem a bit romantic? Yeah, I mainly feel like Italy and France when I see this card. Or maybe England, Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare. So yeah, if you do interpret this in another way, you can comment it what your interpretation is. So you can comment your interpretation. You can also look at another group if you want to. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and maybe comment what resonates with you most. Yeah, thank you for watching. So for group one, I also shuffled what will the relationship be like? And here the cards you got. So this with the romance angels oracle cards. So here you got free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you, and this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Getting to know each other as you reveal your innermost selves to each other. Your bond deepens. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. And let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. So I'm interpreting this as when you meet them. So there could be some romantic feelings, but so with the letting go of control issues, I'm saying they may have some aspects to them that you're not sure of. So you may be someone who wants someone who's exactly who fits your standards 100%, and it may be the case that you need to be open-minded with this person because it is possible that they could be the one for you. So they may have an aspect to them or something that you're unsure of or you may not like or doesn't fit your usual standards. Or by getting to know each other, you might learn something about this person that maybe scares you a bit or you're not sure of or you don't really like or something like that. And it may again be the case where you need to let go of control issues and give them a chance. So that's what I think the red flags are referring to. Something about the person you're not too sure of, that you don't really like. So for example, it could be I know for some people they don't like when someone is like very close with their friends, if that makes sense. So if the person they want to be with is very close with their friends, then they feel like they're going to put their friends over them. So maybe the case where you need to accept that. For some of you, again, you don't have to if you don't want to. Everyone's situation is different. It could be, this could also be interpreted in a different way. And maybe you've already met this person, or maybe it's not right for you to meet this person. So if they pay attention to the red flags, maybe there's something about them they just can't accept. So this may be your destined partner, but maybe they just aren't what you wanted. And if that is the case, you don't have to be with them if you don't want to. You can make your own choice with this connection. You can also interpret this in another way. What else is there? But I do see it as quite a strong connection with a lot of romantic feelings and love in it. A connection where you may need to be more free with yourself, free with your thoughts, free with your actions. Just be spontaneous is what I'm seeing. Yeah. Another thing I want to quickly mention is over here it says worth waiting for, and I think I already took it out. So when I was shuffling the cards, there were a few cards that didn't come out of the packets. So it was give your relationship a chance and trust. So it was give your relationship a chance and trust. Then so yeah, it's safe for you to love, forgiving, worth waiting for. Or some at the back that I saw. There was wedding at the back. And these all seem to me to fit in with this reading for you. About giving this person a chance. Hello group 2. These are the cards that were drawn for you. So there were quite a lot of cards for this group. So you have the Six of Cups, the Page of Wands. So it's down here. The Six of Cups, Page of Wands, the Hermit, Five of Wands, Three of Pentacles. Here's the Page of Wands. Page of Cups. And the Queen of Swords at the end over there. Then over here you have the Seven of Cups, the Strength card, the Three of Swords, the Two of Swords, the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Eight of Wands. So straight away I'm getting that your destined partner is likely someone who is highly introverted, or they enjoy being alone, or they just spend a lot of time by themselves. There is a high chance that they spend a lot of time by themselves due to their fears. So what I saw of these cards is that they may appear like a King of Pentacles. So this is their outward appearance, while this is their inward appearance. So they are very guarded. They guard their hearts. Likely they were hurt in the past, or they're afraid of getting hurt, and they don't want conflict. So they're probably someone who's very sensitive, and they don't like conflict. They prefer to avoid conflict. They prefer to avoid disagreeing with people, and they may be a people pleaser, especially with the Knight of Cups here. And they're likely someone who likes to give a lot to people, to help people. So maybe some people may have taken advantage of that. So with the Seven of Cups here and all these things in the cups, and the Knight of Cups over here. So likely someone who likes to give a lot to people, especially if this is a wealthy person with the King of Pentacles here. So they may have given a lot of their wealth or just gifts to other people. So with the Hermit, they could be a Virgo, especially with a lot of these signs these cards being by themselves. So they could be a Virgo, but they don't have to be a Virgo, and not all Virgos have to be the same. So they could just simply be an introvert. So they may they may not be a Virgo, but still enjoy being alone or prefer being alone, or just feel they have to be alone, possibly to avoid conflict or to avoid the people who want to take advantage of either take advantage of them generally, or just take advantage of their wealth if it is the case that they are very wealthy. But with this card, they don't have to be super like millionaires. They may just have a lot of success, maybe a lot of achievements, especially with this Knight's cards. And I believe it's the Seven of Cups here. So they may have a lot of achievements. So I think of a knight being having success and being anointed and given all these medals. And with the Six of Cups here, so wait, with the Page of Cups here and the Page of Wands, I am getting the sense of someone who is childlike or younger than you. Another meaning to this card would be someone who is needy. That could be the case, not too sure. Maybe for some of you. It would make sense with this card especially. Seven of Cups, so someone who's needy, who needs a lot of things. So not need a lot of things, maybe the wrong way to word it, but you know what I mean. Then with the Six of Cups, I'm seeing this as likely they had someone they were very close to when they were younger, and that person may not be with them anymore. But if it is the case that that person did pass away, it may be that they are still with them, maybe as an animal form or spirit form. But I do see that they are someone who doesn't open up to others easily. And maybe because of that person they were close to when they were younger, leaving them, they don't open up to others easily. Maybe they were really close with that person. They felt comfortable being with that person with their strength cards. So now, especially if they are a sensitive person, so maybe they did find comfort in this person, but now that that person is gone, they find it harder. Like they are alone more often now. So then with this Eight of Wands, especially if this is someone who's highly sensitive or afraid of the judgment of others, especially with this card, so afraid of others judging them, maybe they have a few differences or things that are different about them, that they are afraid of what other people will think. So with this card, I'm getting the sense of an illusioned enemy, if that makes sense, or imagining something like these being the judgments of other people, these ones, but it's all an illusion. So for example, being afraid to wear something because of what your mind's going through thoughts of what other people will think, but that hasn't happened and no one's thought any, like an illusion scenario basically. So imagining things that haven't happened or likely won't happen, but you're too afraid to go ahead with something because of what your mind's going through. Because when I did read a bit of The Power of Now, I remember it be mentioning that the mind either creates a future that's worse than now or better than now. So it's likely that this is the kind of person that often creates a future, and a future can be a second later, a minute later, a minute later, a second later, a day later, or more. But they often imagine a negative future. This could also just represent passion, because there is quite a bit of ones here. So someone who is passionate, to some degree. But I am getting a heavier sense of an emotional person. I'm someone who's probably easily deceived. Maybe they trust people too easily. They may be a dreamer, so someone who does dream a lot. So kind of like PCs, or I think it's Neptune. Someone who does daydream quite a lot and have expectations of what they want their future to be like. So that could also link in with this card. Like I mentioned, with the mind either creating a future that is better or worse. So there could be someone who creates a future that is better often. So maybe daydreaming about the person who they want to be with in the future, or maybe daydreaming about the person who they were with in the past. With the Three of Pentacles here, Again, I'm getting the sense of someone who is often alone, maybe prefers being alone, or finds more comfort in being by themselves than with being with other people. And they may appear a bit intimidating with this King of Pentacles, because with Earth signs, I do imagine someone who is stern, maybe strict. And the Pentacles is a representative of Earth signs. So I imagine someone who's maybe stern, strict, or appears kind of like a rock. So I imagine them to appearing like a rock at first, but they're more, probably more childish or childlike, in touch with their inner child, and really guarded. They don't let people in easily, and they guard their heart because they are afraid of getting hurt. So yeah, they may enjoy writing. Maybe they write a diary. Maybe they do keep a diary. Maybe they I, I feel like maybe someone who enjoys writing song lyrics. So they may like so yeah, maybe writing songs or writing the lyrics, either one of those. I do feel sometimes that music is a very like emotional thing sometimes, because when you do listen to music, it does affect you emotionally, especially depending on the song that you do listen to. So some songs can make you feel inspired, some songs make you feel sad, some songs may make you feel angry. But yeah, I do feel they may enjoy music, especially with all the cups energy here. With the Six of Cups, maybe for some of you they have a twin, or maybe they just, again, in touch with their inner child. They may be coping with maybe depression. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure, but possibly coping with depression, because a lot of the times when you do imagine a future that's negative or think back to the past, back to the negative aspects of the past, you do start feeling depressed about where you are now. So you do start developing a sense of depression. You do start feeling hopeless, or not feeling like just not feeling, and just not feeling happy, to put it simply. Although this card does give me a sense of being cheerful, so not so they may have their cheerful times. They may have times when they are feeling a bit down with this card. Maybe that's when they like to write music or write in their diaries. But I am seeing here that if when they are able to open up to you, I don't know how long that will take. It might take them a while, or it might happen quickly. But when they are able to open up to you, I'm getting a sense that they are likely someone who'd take care of you and who wants to take care of you. Especially with the Knight of Cups, like a good, they'd make a great partner, romantically. They take care of you, maybe give you things with this Seven of Cups here. So they could give you things. They may feel comfortable being around you. You may enjoy spending a lot of time together, and they may likely just spend time alone with you rather than in a large group. And that's what I'm getting here. So I'm gonna shuffle for the next question. Okay, these were the cards that were drawn for your destined partner's occupation. So you have here the Magician, Knight of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Page of Pentacles, the High Priest, the Justice card, King of Swords, and the Wheel of the Year. So with the Magician card, I am getting a sense of someone who is self-employed or works in the entertainment industry. Maybe they are literally a magician, so they do magic, especially with the Page of Pentacles, so that means manifestation. Someone who, they could also be a writer, because when I manifestation to do with writing or creating, so with magician, creating a world, a fictionless world, creating a fictionless world. And when you write fictional stories, it's like you are the creator of that world. So that would link in with the Magician and the Page of Pentacles. Again, with the Magician, someone maybe in the spotlight with the light behind him. Again, an entertainer. With the Wheel of the Year, I did get a sense of someone who is self-employed, so like working all year round. Because when you are self-employed or when you work based on the contracts, often you have to keep finding work, or you have to make your own holidays, although sometimes you don't really get a time off. Um, in some cases, not all cases, it depends on the person. Um, so they could maybe be a YouTuber or just something self-employed, to do with maybe entertaining or maybe writing, because that can also be done sort of self-employed, sort of. Um, although writing, maybe blogs, yeah, that could fit in. With the Knight of Pentacles, I saw routine, so completely opposite to the self-employed one. So this is a general reading. Some things may resonate, some things may not. But with the Knight of Pentacles, I saw it as a routine, someone who maybe works a routine job, like maybe 9 to 5, or a job with a similar, where they do similar things every day. And also they could, so although this is to do with occupation, the Knight of Pentacles could mean someone younger, and because the Page of Pentacles is there, so they could be a student. So yeah, they may be a young adult or a teenager at the moment, or when you meet. So it could be someone who travels for work. And with the Wheel of the Year, I did also get a sense of traveling with the different seasons around it. Then with the Ten of Swords, maybe someone who works with death. So maybe they work more in the morgue, or as a forensic scientist, or someone who studies death. So like or criminology. So maybe someone who studies like dead bodies, or studies what do you call it? Yeah, studies people who have committed a crime, and their motives, or profiler. And I did get that sense of the Justice card. Also, someone who works in law, or studying to work in law. Again, with the Page of Pentacles. Maybe they work with animals as well, because with the Page of Pentacles, I thought of, especially with the pentacles, it made me think of animals in spotlight. So like working with show animals, maybe a circus for some of you, but working with so animals in the spotlight, like animals who appear in movies on TV, or animals that appear on YouTube, or maybe just animals generally, maybe a veterinarian. So they may work on a farm for some of you, possibly. With the high priest, I got a sense of someone who works in religion. So again, a priest, so literally, or someone who's studying philosophy, like studying morals, philosophy, who maybe works in a church, or again works with religion. What else is there? They could maybe work in government, because with the pillars at the back, it makes me think of parliament. With the King of Swords, I'm immediately getting radio host. So someone who works in a radio station. So I think it was the Three of Pentacles, the card where he's writing with a cat behind him. So with that card, that would make sense with what was it? Because I do associate that card with manifestation as well. So that would make sense with the Magician and the Page of Pentacles. With the radio host. So with the with the King of Swords, someone who's a radio host, or a comedian. So again, with the Three of Pentacles, that would make sense. So I think I a lot of comedians tend to be introverted. I can't remember who told me that or where I read that from, but someone mentioned that a lot of comedians tend to be introverted because they need to sit down and think about the jokes that they're going to tell. And linking back to, they may have some past childhood traumas with the reading with from before with the what are they like question, because some comedians turn their life traumas into jokes. I know a comedian, Trevor Noah, who does that. He made one video about his mum getting shot, and he was able to turn that into a comedy routine, but while also spreading awareness of, because I remember what he said was it costs more to take a life than to save it. So yeah, so there may be a comedian who turns the things that make them upset. So with the Three of Pentacles from before, I mentioned that they may, when they are feeling down, they may write about it as maybe a song lyrics or in a diary. They may write about it as a comedy routine. And with the King of Swords, I'm also getting someone who may work in a field that seems more masculine. So that would be like a bodybuilder, plumber, builder, just fields of work that seem like basically seem more masculine, yeah. And with the Wheel of the Year as well, maybe someone who works part-time because of the changing season, so they don't have one main job. They may work several part-time jobs, likely as well if they are a student. So they may work several part-time jobs or one part-time job, but I am getting a sense of part-time work, so not full-time work with the Wheel of the Year. So for group two, the cards that were drawn for Where Is Your Destined Partner From? You have here the Eight of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, the Moon, the Hanged Man in reverse, the Karma card, the Three of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So with the Eight of Cups and with all the greenery in this card, there could be someone who was likely not from the city, likely raised in the countryside where you can see the stars more clearly. They may also be from Greenland, or with the Seven of Pentacles, they could be from Greenland, or a country where or country. Because with the Six of Cups, I am getting a sense of, because countries where blonde hair is kind of like the stereotype, so like Russia or Scandinavian countries, I know the stereotype for those countries usually someone with blonde hair, or they could have blonde hair or maybe brown hair. They could also look like someone in the Three of Pentacles. So they could have darker skin and maybe come from a country where that skin type, like the man in the page in the Three of Pentacles, is common. So like an African country, maybe the Caribbean. So yeah, countries like that could even be from India. Because with the Hanged Man in reverse, I did get a sense of meditation, and meditation originated in India, so that they could be from India or a country where Buddhism is prominent, so maybe Japan, for example. Also with the Moon card, so when I saw the moon, the first thing I thought of was if you do watch anime, sometimes there's like a guy in his backyard drinking a cup of sake and watching the moon. So I did get that image in my head. So maybe they are from Japan. They don't have to originate in Japan. They may have been born in Japan or grew up in Japan. Or they are ancestrally, or was that the word? And originally from Japan. So like in terms of their heritage. So then with the Ace of Wands, I'm seeing here some European countries with the castle in the background. And since that does represent passion as well, with the wands, fire, passion, it does again make me think of Italy. And I think Italy came up for group one as well. Because when I imagine passion, I think it does. Italy is the first thing that comes to mind usually. Like passion in terms of romance and passion in terms of family, and also with the karma card, again with the moon over there. But when I see this card, it makes me think of paganism sometimes. I don't know why, but that just comes to my head sometimes. And so that could be related to Greece, Rome, Egypt, or a Scandinavian country. Yeah, or possibly witchcraft as well, because of the three women, kind of like they're doing some kind of ritual of some kind. So that could be so I thought Salem. So I think that's Massachusetts, I think that is. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. With the Three of Swords, I'm thinking a country where people are more reserved or less, not less friendly, but less likely to like if they see someone on the road and just saying hi to that person, or like less likely to talk to a stranger, if that makes sense. So a country that comes to mind would be I think Norway or sometimes Germany, because people there sometimes have not everyone has to be like this, but some people in those countries are a bit more reserved, maybe more introverted or more shy or more shy. But again, not everyone has to be like that. It's just my association with those words. Then again, with the swords in the chest, it's making me think of like like someone who, should I say, keeps their secrets or keeps their passions hidden, if that makes sense. So like for example in Sweden, I think they have a saying about not bragging about your accomplishments. So that does make me think of this card. So keeping your accomplishments to yourselves in a sense, and not expanding your heart in the sense like the heart, if that like if you take the heart as like the ego, for example, not expanding it and just keeping it tame, keeping it calm, and not thinking that you're better than anyone than other people because of your accomplishments. So that does make me think of Sweden. Then with the Hanged Man, I looked the Hanged Man up real quick, and so I think the drawing is inspired by, I think it's Odin. So yeah, that's Nordic. So again, they could be from a Nordic, a Nordic country or Scandinavian country. So like Iceland. So then there's also Greenland. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. They could be from a country that's a bit more old-fashioned. Because with the children, with all the greenery, with the children there, I am getting a sense of a country that's, should I say, stuck in history. Not a country, but a village. So for example, I know that in Germany there are some places, small villages that look like they are look like they were brought from the past, and still have the an old fashioned design, like maybe medieval, not likely not medieval periods, but when you think of medieval castles, that kind of sense. So they may have been raised around women with the Three of Cups, and again maybe raised around nature, with the Seven of Pentacles and the Six of Cups and the Three of Cups. With the Hanged Man, again I'm getting a sense of, because the tree is down, so maybe a place where deforestation occurs a lot. So for example, I watched a documentary years ago now about, I think in Brazil, they sometimes cut down trees to build houses for people or something. They cut down trees for the benefit of humans, but it's either for people's homes or something else, but I believe it is to do with people's homes, to build more, to make space to build more homes for people. Son of the moon, and if you look here, the wolves in the background. So maybe a place where wolves are more common. So that's North America, Europe, and I think East Asia. I'm not too sure. So then with this card here, and with the black cat, that also made me think of witches as well. But with the Three of Pentacles here, they may maybe Italy, with like the Pope. So yeah, Italy or a Christian country. So like yeah, a Christian country or Italy, because to me it looks like a church with the stained glass windows at the background. What else is there? Maybe a country where you have to be more reserved with the Three of Swords here. So again, that's East Asia. Because to me, when I think of being reserved, I do sometimes think of like Japan, where I can't think of an example, but so you can interpret these cards in another way. If you want to, they may also live by the beach with the Eight of Cups here, but you can interpret these cards in a different way. And then the next question, I believe, is where you're going to meet. Again, they could look like the children here, or the women here, or the man over here, or the three people over here. So with blonde hair, or brown hair, or darker skin, any one of those. And again, maybe raised around a family with lots of women, or just raised around lots of women. With church, it makes me think of an orphanage. So maybe raised in an orphanage. So for the question, where you will meet your destined partner. So where, you got quite a lot of cards. And there's also more over here. So with the Ace of Pentacles here, what else is here? The Four of Pentacles, and over here, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles. So some likely at work. So you may meet them at work. Possibly also they may be assigned to you, because with this card here, I'm seeing it as, think of how to explain this. Like they were, should I say, given to you, and you have to focus on them. So someone who maybe they were assigned to you, or you were assigned to them for something. So for example, a talent manager, or a trainer of some sorts. So where you have to put your focus on someone for something, or to help them to cultivate their skills. With the Page of Pentacles, you could meet them at school, or at studies of some sorts, maybe at university, or during your travels. Because with the Page of Wands here, as well as with the World card here, and the Chariot card here. Sorry for the noise. And with the Chariot card here, I am getting a sense of traveling. So you may meet them during your travels, or during their travels. Especially with the Nine of Pentacles. I think that came up for this group as well in the careers one. And if it is something to do with being a celebrity, it could be maybe during their travels. Like if they are on tour, you may meet them. And if it is the case that they are a musician of some sorts, so maybe when they're on tour, you may meet them. I'm seeing working alone with this card here and this card here, and with the Hermit, maybe during isolation with the Hermit, but I'm also seeing working alone. And with the Queen of Wands here, I'm seeing at a club or some sort of social event to do with dating or showcasing your attractiveness. So for example, maybe speed dating, or is it runway, or catwalk of some sort. So maybe to do with modeling, like attending a runway show. I think that's what it's called. Um, and with the shadow side here and the Ace of Cups, so maybe where someone who helps like a place where you explore your dark side. So, for example, a psychiatrist or psychologist, a therapist, um, but somewhere where you open up, or it could be or open up about something, or maybe when you're doing something that seems not yourself, or like something to do embracing your shadow side. Um, that could also mean in the night to me. So maybe you meet them in the night, especially here nighttime. Um, some of you at a group gathering. Um, Also, I got a heavy sense of because with the Six of Wands meaning accomplishment. So Six of Wands, Page of Pentacles, I think the Eight of Pentacles, what are the cards? There were a few cards that gave me a sense of you or them um receiving an award for the work you did, and that's where you meet. So a big gathering of some sorts. So a gathering of some sorts where you receive an award. So here, an award for your achievements with this card and the Ace of Pentacles down here. Um and the Nine of Pentacles is also luxury. I'm seeing it as it could be an award if you are like if you are interested in acting or a creative sort of job, then maybe an award to do with that. With the luxury card, with because this card does make me think of luxury, modeling and acting, being a celebrity, being in the spotlight, jewelry, having a material wealth. Um, Maybe when the butterflies are in season as well, so spring. You might meet them at a European country with this here, or Disneyland, because this makes me think of Disney. So maybe at Disneyland, or maybe on a history at a history museum. Because this does make me think like the castles does make me think of history. And with the Page of Swords as well, so communication, a place where you have to communicate. So if it is to do with an award, either you're receiving an award, or they are. So maybe like when you give a speech when you receive an award. So that's what I get with that card. So as well, when you do receive an award, sometimes you have to travel somewhere to receive it. If it is being held far from where you are. So maybe when you are working alone, I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. Maybe somewhere cold in winter time. So you might meet at Iceland, or maybe Canada, somewhere more up north, but a colder country with more snow. You might meet there. Maybe after doing some introspection of some sorts, because of the Ace of Cups here and the Hermit card there, and the shadow side down here. Maybe after going through some kind of being. So again, it could be literally out after isolation, or it could also mean after going within yourself and unlocking yourself emotionally. So letting go of your fears, or when you feel an emotional abundance, overjoyed. So again, to do with an award. So maybe when you are receiving an award, you're feeling all the joy inside from receiving the award. Maybe when you go up on the stage, maybe that's where they see you. Maybe you just bump into each other, or meeting somehow during maybe on your way to traveling somewhere, maybe for an award, or at the award place. But I believe that where you will meet is related to an award, or traveling somewhere, traveling the world, maybe. Maybe Japan, because I don't know if you've seen it, but there's an anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and there was one ability called the World. Maybe England, because I know that the character that used that ability is English. So you might meet it in England, or Africa, somewhere in Africa with the animals here and the greenery. So that is making me think of Africa, especially the lions, like Lion King, for example, and with the deer as well. Maybe while hunting. So if some of you do like going hunting, or maybe they're going hunting and you meet there, then maybe hunting for talents. So again, with this card here being assigned to someone, and with the card here, so hunting for talent, talent hunting. I think I mentioned an adventure, and again with traveling the world, at a gathering. Maybe you meet at church, because this sometimes it kind of looks like a church door, or possibly Christmas with I forgot what it's called. Maybe in America, online dating possibly, or modeling of some sorts. Maybe a place where you are able to explore your passion. For example, if you enjoy photography, maybe you go somewhere to take pictures, and that's where you meet. Or if you enjoy drawing, you go somewhere to draw outside, or your art gets put up somewhere, for example, and that's where you meet. Or maybe you enjoy drawing and your art is displayed somewhere, and someone likes your artwork and they want to use it for something, and that's how you connect. Again, it's being assigned to someone. There's an eagle here as well, I think. With the sky, I'm thinking planes. Maybe you meet on a plane for some of you. Since this is a general reading, some things may resonate, some things may not. Some of these messages may be for you, some of it may be for someone else. I think I'm going to leave it here. Oh yeah, the magician. So an entertainment. So again, some kind of talent show of some sort. Cinema. A show, maybe a literal magic show. Maybe a street show. Again, I think there's butterflies there. So spring. Valentine's Day with the roses up here. Maybe where you meet is like magic. So some places have tales, not tales, literal tales, but like stories to them. So for example, in Korea, there's a place where if you put a padlock there, it's believed that your relationship will last forever or something like that. So maybe a place where there's a story attached to it to do with love. Maybe at a farm or a petting zoo, or because I know some cities do have farms. There's one here as well, like small farms where you can visit, like a zoo but with farm animals. So yeah, you can interpret this in another way if you want to. These cards may mean something else to you as well. So maybe when you're going hiking, so I'm getting some hiking, mountain climbing, being out with nature, a yoga class, maybe in India, somewhere, I'm thinking waterfall as well, but somewhere where you can be calm and in your space, you're calm in your space with these two cards. Maybe somewhere where you meditate. So like a still water meditation, like makes me think of meditation, and then with the ripples being disrupted, so maybe their presence disrupts your meditation, and in a sense of falling in love or noticing each other. So their presence disrupts your meditation in the sense of noticing each other. So for group 2, after shuffling the Romance Oracle Angels cards, the cards you got were, or are, let your friends help you, ask for and accept support from others. Engagement, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Religious factors, so your love life is being influenced by your, where is it? Your religious upbringing and spiritual path. And make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your love life and to your life. Soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. Honeymoon. Enjoy this bliss of holiday time together. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirits of fun to shine. At the top of the deck here, you have calling in your soulmate. Let's stay optimistic. And at the back of the deck, there is unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. So the question I asked was, what's your relationship going to be like with your destined partner, especially with these cards here? When I asked that question, these cards came up, but then cards weren't coming up as much, so I asked a different question, which is a bit more for the group 2s who will be watching this, something like, what will the group 2s who will be watching this relationship be like with their destined partner? It was a very complicated, like the question was asked in a very complicated way. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is, with these cards here, it could be related to your current love life, or your love life with your future partner, not future partner, your destined partner. Because I kind of changed the questions around this card. So I can get more cards in, because sometimes the way I ask the questions changes how the cards come in. So if I just say for group 2, sometimes cards don't come out at all. So I need to specify that it's for the group 2s who will be watching the video. So that's just an example of how I need to change the questions to get more cards out. So back to the reading. I want to focus on these cards to do with your destined partner. Because I feel like these cards came out when I asked that question specifically about your destined partner. So maybe you'll get to know each other's friends. And although the messages are here, I do like to interpret this in another way as well. So I'm seeing it as you'll get to know each other's friends. Likely you may know each other's friends well, or maybe your friends will help you in the connection with your destined partner. Then there's engagement. So I think that speaks for itself. Maybe they want to get engaged. They will want to get engaged with you, or your relationship with them is like will ascend as time goes on. Healing family issues. Maybe a relationship with them will help you to heal your family issues. Will help them to heal their family issues. Or likely your families will be involved in the relationship quite a bit, especially if one or both of your families are religious. They're likely going to get involved. For example, like an example I'm thinking of is if you have two different religions, and you want to get married, your families might have different ideas of a marriage, of the kind of marriage that they want you to have. Again, everyone is different. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's families is different. Even regardless of religion, some people are religious, but they're still going to be different to each other. Then with the playfulness cards, I feel like there will be some aspects of playfulness to the relationship. With the unrequited love and reconciliation, mainly with this card, I am seeing it as maybe you don't think this reading is for you, or when you meet, you don't think they're for you, or something like that. It could be that they are afraid of giving you their hearts with this card. They may like you, but be afraid of giving you their hearts. That could be the case. And then calling in your soulmate. So you may be calling them in very soon. Or you may call each other a lot. That could also be the case. Then honeymoon. So you may be going on many trips together. This person could likely be the one for you. They may be someone you've known in the past, or possibly one of you approaches each other, but maybe one of you rejects the other, and so this relationship isn't something that happens once and for all. It may be something that happens over time, especially if they are going through some things. to do with healing their heart or being afraid of opening up or something like that, and make the effort. So you may have to wait for them, or you may be the one to have to make the effort, or they could be the ones who have to make the effort. But I'm seeing it as you having to make the effort to help them open up to you. And so they may reject you at first, or reject the connection, or be afraid of it. And that could be linked in with the unrequited love. That's what I'm seeing with this card. And you may have to reconcile with them and make the effort. And maybe they have to heal some family issues from the past, or you will help each other heal your family issues. And so one of you may be religious, or may find religion when you're together. So yeah, these are your cards for the Romance Oracle Angels. Hello group 3, welcome to your reading. So this is a general reading, so not everything might resonate. The cards you got here for what is your destined partner like? You have the Temperance, the Five of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, the World, the Seven of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. So with the Ace of Cups, I'm getting a likely someone new. And also I'm getting someone with a lot to give, like emotionally, so likely emotional support, and also like, because with these cards, I am getting someone. So with the lack of swords and wands, I'm thinking someone who is emotionally abundant. They are stable in a sense that they are good at focusing on a task, and they may work alone or with others. But the Eight of Pentacles there. But I'm seeing someone who may not be the best at communicating their feelings, especially with the Five of Cups. So they're likely a calm person who is quite easygoing, very sensitive, especially again with the Five of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So very sensitive to other people's emotions. So like their emotions fill into the large ocean at the bottom, if that makes sense. But I'm seeing as very sensitive to other people's emotions. But with the Seven of Swords, I'm seeing here someone whose words sometimes hurt others. I'm also seeing it with the guy smiling. With the way he's smiling, I'm seeing someone who may be happy-go-lucky, but that may not be the case for some of you. For some of you, maybe that their words can be harsh sometimes, so they may not be the best at communicating their feelings or communicating their side of things. They may be introverted, although I'm not 100% getting the sense of that. Like for some of you, it might be the case, for some of you, it might not. But what I am seeing directly here with the cards is that they are very sensitive, very empathetic. They care a lot about the world. They may be an animal rights activist. They care about people. They care about animals. They want peace in the world, especially with the Temperance. They want the world to be happy, like the rainbow in the background. They want a happy, peaceful world. And because of that, they may feel when something bad happens, they may take it personally and feel an overflow of negative emotions. So with so much emotion, they can't hold it all. That's why I'm seeing it with the cups on the floor. So they can't handle all that emotion that they are feeling. Like, because when they're good at putting themselves in other people's shoes, so they may be good at taking a cup from other people's oceans. You're taking a cup of water from other people's oceans, but there's a limit to how much they can take before it's too much for them. With the Queen of Pentacles, they may be interested in the dark arts, maybe witchcraft, or they may be interested in European history, maybe the Victorian era, Queen Elizabeth, like the Bloody Mary stuff. They may also be interested in what else? Because I am mainly getting history with the Eight of Pentacles and an interest in history. They may work, although this isn't a card. This isn't a what do they work as reading that will come later. So yeah, they could work. They could be interested in death in the sorts, or just interested in darker things. I am seeing here someone who you can depend on emotionally, although they do have quite a lot of on that. They take in too much emotionally. They may also want to experience the world with the bird in the corner of the world card. So they may want to experience the world, fly around the world, experience everything, travel, be around nature, see different animals. Maybe a photographer who travels around the world taking pictures of nature. So you may be destined to change the world together with the Two of Cups there. It could be in a small way. So maybe you're both activists, or maybe both of you will have a impact in the world somehow. It doesn't have to be super duper huge. And with the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups especially, so I'm seeing here someone who might have had a lot of heartbreaks in the past. So the Two of Cups, sharing cups, full cups at first, and there's several cups around the woman, all spilled on the floor. So they may have gone through a lot of heartbreak in the past. Remember, it doesn't have to be a woman. This is a genderless reading, so your gender doesn't matter. It's just what I'm seeing in the cards. So someone who has gone through a lot of heartbreak, all the cups that they filled with other people is now spilt on the floor, and feeling empty. So with the Seven of Cups again, if it is the case that their words can be quite harsh, I'm seeing it could upset them as well with the Five of Cups. So their harsh words upset them, because I'm seeing here someone who doesn't want to see other people upset. When something does happen to other people, they take it personally. Like they see everyone as their family, although the family cards aren't here, like the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. I see this as the family cards. Although they're not here, I'm seeing this as someone who takes the world personally with the Two of Cups. So they take the world personally. I think I already mentioned this could be someone new with the Ace of Cups. So they may also be deceitful with the Seven of Swords. So slightly deceitful. This could be deceit in a sense of pretending that they're okay, pretending that everything's fine, like the Temperance, but within they are feeling like the Five of Cups. So outside they seem like the Temperance, but within they are feeling like the Five of Cups. I mean, with the Temperance dipping her leg in the water, it's like being involved in the world, because I'm seeing here the water as the emotions of the collective, the emotions of everyone, and them wanting to be involved and help out. So I'm seeing here someone who is pure at heart, maybe likely spiritually in tune as well. So they could be quite spiritual. So they may also be someone who gives you their heart with the Two of Cups. So when in a romantic relationship, they're someone who wants to give their heart to the person fully and completely, who has a lot to give emotionally. They could be someone who wants some kind of equality in terms of in an emotional sense in a relationship. So where you can depend on each other, not just one person depending on the other person. So someone who they can depend on you and you can depend on them. So for group 3, these are the cards you got for your destined partner's occupation. So you have the Seven of Cups, the Six of Pentacles in reverse, the King of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, the Chariot, the Empress, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. So with the Seven of Cups, I'm getting someone who is maybe creative, but I'm getting someone who, a creator, so an animator, an app developer, a website creator, especially because with all the with all the items in the cups, I'm getting like Disney animation, but it doesn't have to be a Disney animator. It could just be maybe a YouTube animator. So they make animated YouTube videos, or another kind of animator. So maybe stop motion, or they work for a different studio. But I am getting the sense of an animator with this card, or a creator. Then with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, I'm thinking someone who likely puts a lot of effort into things without getting much in return, or someone who is involved in. So I think, I'm not sure if it was this group, but there was a card I got that meant not earning a lot of money. It might have been a different group, but that's also what I'm kind of getting the sense of this Six of Pentacles. So they put a lot more effort in than what they get out. Or when I first seeing this card, the instant thing I got was not dealing with money or not dealing with people directly. So for example, someone who takes money, so that could be a banker, so maybe takes the money for their clients to keep it somewhere, or someone who, so the children again could mean their business, and they could be like a CEO of a business where they don't handle the business directly. It's handled through someone else. So it could also be that they just don't handle money directly. So they may have an accountant to help them handle their money. With the King of Wands, again, I'm getting the CEO kind of vibes, or someone who is at the top of a business or at the top of their career. So that could also mean maybe a manager. And I believe the Empress is down here as well. So again, someone at the top of something, or in what they do, or someone in the spotlight. And the Nine of Pentacles is here as well. So I think I mentioned before, when I see this card, I associate it usually with a celebrity or someone in the spotlight, someone who walks the red carpet, someone who is successful, or who lives a luxurious life. And I'm getting that again with the King of Wands and with the Emperor. So they could be someone who has a lot of money. And with the Knight of Pentacles over here, they may also have several ways of earning money. So the Knight of Pentacles with the Seven of Cups. So they may have a lot of different ideas in ways to earn money. So they may have several different forms of revenue, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. So Pentacles thinking wealth and stability and income, and then the Seven of Cups with their different options. Then with the Chariot card, they may be a race car driver or a taxi driver or a pilot, someone who takes people places, especially with the two horses being in the sky. So yeah, that makes me think a plane pilot. I think there's another word for it. I'm not too sure, but someone who pilots something or takes people places. They don't have to directly drive the plane, but they could work in that field. Then with the Empress, someone in the spotlight again, especially with the stars around her head. So someone who is a star, so a celebrity. They may not be super famous, but I am seeing they have some sort of fame around them. Then with the Page of Pentacles, they may be a student or someone who is new in the work that they want to enter. So they may still be new in their field of career. They may also be a farmer, possibly, or they may just enjoy maybe going to farms. I'm not sure, because with the goat in the background. So I'm seeing someone here who is still studying. Then with the Nine of Wands, so they may be someone who protects people or protects people's assets. So maybe maybe they code like things to do with security. So coding antivirus softwares. Again, with the Seven of Cups here, I am getting maybe an app developer of some sorts. Or they may just defend people, so a security guard. They may work one-on-one, so with the Two of Cups. They may not work with many other people. They may work in something to do with romance, like a wait, hold on a minute. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, with the Nine of Wands, there could be someone who defends maybe a lot of people. With the Seven of Cups here, so it could be a lot of people that they do defend. So like cybersecurity, or some kind of maybe working for the government with the King of Wands and the Empress. That could mean a higher power who they work for. So the government or someone important. That could explain why the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe they do all this work, but they don't get paid that much. But I'm not sure how much people who do work in those fields get paid. So I don't want to create any assumptions. You can look that up if you want to. You can also look up any other fields that you think may relate to these cards. You may see something else in these cards that I missed. So there could be a security guard, maybe they defend a lot of people. With the Knight of Pentacles, I'm getting here someone who's stable. Usually the Knight of Pentacles is slow moving, and while the Chariot is fast moving. So that's quite an interesting difference there. So maybe their work is quite dynamic, or again, this is a general reading. So for some of you, this may be someone who works in a very slow moving workplace, a job where it doesn't, maybe this is just an example, but maybe their projects take many months or years to complete. So for example, in the film industry, film can take up to 3 years to be completed, or several months. It does normally take quite a lot of time to make a film, so that could be an example. Although the film industry is also very fast moving, so although it takes a long time to make a film, when you are actually making the film, especially behind the scenes, on set, I've heard a lot of people say it is very busy. So that does explain the Chariot card. So maybe if they do work in the film industry, it takes a while to complete their job, but it is a very fast moving. So the work they do is fast moving, but it takes a while to complete. That does also explain the Nine of Pentacles here. So being in the spotlight. So maybe their work, if not them, then their work is in the spotlight, or their work gets a lot of attention. So that also explains the Seven of Cups. Someone who's creative, who creates things, and when working on films, or I'll use films as an example since I know a bit more about films than some other occupations. So, for example, in films, they may need, for example, if they're in the art department, they may need to activate their creativity to set up all these objects that the director might want on set, for example. So yeah, and if they do all this work, they may feel again that they're not being paid. They may feel that they're not being paid enough, or they may actually not be paid enough. Or they just don't deal with money directly, or maybe they don't deal with the higher ups directly. But I see that Six of Pentacles in reverse as not dealing with something directly, although that technically that does mean one-sidedness, like not like an unbalanced scale. So putting in a lot but not getting enough back. Or like there's a story I heard about like a woman, I'm not sure if it was a woman, but someone who like goes on a journey, and every time someone asks her for something, she gives it to them no matter what. So maybe they are that kind of person who puts in a lot to their work. So for example, if someone asks her for some shoes, she gives them her shoes. I'm saying she because I think it was a woman in the story. Or someone asks her for money, she gives them money. Excuse me. And then by the end of the story, she ends up with nothing. She literally has nothing, no clothes, nothing, because she's given everything away, but she's still smiling, she's still happy. I think I heard that story in a film or a K-drama. I think it was an anime. Yeah, Fruits Basket, that's it. I heard that story in Fruits Basket. So the anime. So I'm getting with the Empress, winter, then summer with the Nine of Pentacles, and then spring. So again, working all year long. Again, that links back with the film industry, or another kind of job where they do work long hours. So yeah, you can again interpret these cards in another way, or if this doesn't resonate at all, you can pick another group. So for group 3 is where is your destined partner from? Not many cards wanted to come out for this group. Maybe not many people would choose this group, or maybe not many of you are meant to know I've noticed that when it comes to this question, so the first two questions are usually okay. You usually get lots of cards. But when it comes to questions like where are they from and where you're gonna meet, so the wheres and whens usually don't get many cards because I believe that maybe the universe wants to keep that a mystery. But I am getting with these cards that it's a country. Wait, hold on. It's a country that doesn't have much conflict. With the I think that's the 5 of Wands in reverse, or like a country that doesn't have much diversity, so either that doesn't have much conflict or a country without much diversity. Likely a country where people usually keep to themselves, or a country with that doesn't have much pollution. I'm seeing a fairly peaceful country. I saw something with these cards when I first saw it, but I can't remember what it was. But I do remember linking what I saw to. I'm sorry for the noise. Wait. Yeah, sorry for the noise. But I do interpret this as like when I first saw these cards, I started thinking, and I looked at them. I started thinking Japan and maybe Korea, like especially those two. I don't know many East Asian countries. I do know, like, I don't. It doesn't make me think of like the Philippines or Indonesia or Thailand or any of those countries or even China. Well, maybe China, but it makes me think more of Korea and Japan because I know that in Korea and Japan, and this may also apply to other. If you can think of another country that this applies to, then please comment. But for me, I do think of like the crime rate in Korea and Japan is very low, like compared to many other countries, and also it is a country where children, well, it makes when I think of Korea and Japan, I think of a place where children can go out alone and return home safely. Although if this maybe you may not many of you may think of it like this, but that's my idea when I do think of when I do see these cards. I do relate it to Korea and Japan, especially Japan, where children can go out and come back home safely. Although that is the case also with many countries in the West. I do feel like not every country in the West, but for most parts of the West, you can have your a child go out and return home safely. Remember, and I'm not saying every single part, but most parts, not most parts, but some parts. For example, in the UK, in London, there are parts where it's not that safe for a child to go on their own, and there are parts where it's quite safe for a child to go on their own. But I'd say it's fairly safe. Then there are some countries where it's not safe at all. But I'd say this is a country where it's very safe for a child to go out on their own and return home safely. I'm seeing here with the Nine of Swords, a country with maybe high levels of stress. Maybe a lot of young people are, well, I saw it as, because I know that in Korea a lot of young people are facing stress, which is why as another reason why I associated these cards with Korea, because I think that a lot of the young people there and in Japan do face high expectations, which can be quite stressful and can lead to maybe some fears about their future. So that's why I thought when I saw these cards. Then the same thing with Japan with the high, because I do know that Japan is a country where I don't know how to explain it, but like not to say that people work hard, like they do, but not saying that other countries don't have people that work hard, but in a way that they overwork. I don't know. I'm not sure how to put it, but I think you get what I mean. So that I am associating that with the Nine of Swords. And then I mentioned in another group, when I see the moon, I do imagine a guy or a girl sitting in their backyard in a traditional Japanese house, drinking sake and staring at the moon. And there isn't much diversity in Japan, like compared to, for example, America, where there's a wide range of different people. There isn't much of that in Japan or Korea. Like there is more than before, but not as much as like America or Australia or Canada or even the UK or Germany, for example. So then it could be a Scandinavian country, since like I'm going off stereotypes here. You don't like not every person from a Scandinavian country is going to look like the woman in the moon card. People do look different. People can look different. So maybe Scandinavia or Russia or Western Europe, since this is like the stereotypical view of people from those places with like blonde hair. Or maybe this is someone with blonde hair. Or maybe someone from Eastern Europe, or maybe just someone with brown hair. Although I'm not really getting Eastern Europe with these cards. Yeah, I don't think I'm seeing anything else with these cards. So dragons in reverse, taking it literally, maybe not China, because that's taking it literally. So up in reverse, like not, and then with the dragons, like China, Emperor, the Chinese zodiac signs, and again the dragon representing an emperor. And I think the Empress was in the last reading as well, so that's interesting. Maybe there's a connection there. If you can connect those two, please comment it. I'll be interested to read that. It would be interesting to read that. Or I'd be interested in reading that. Again, I think the moon is there in the Nine of Swords in the background. Over here. I think that's the moon. Maybe a country with fast communication. With this card, I sometimes associate it with America or the US because of the communication. So like with the eagle, I think that's the eagle, the necklace over there. They may also be from a countryside or a very small village or a very small country with lots of greenery and not many cities. Oh yeah, and because of the communication, I'm getting, like in America and a lot of places in the West, for example, newspapers that, like freedom of speech sort of things. Like other countries do have freedom of speech, but the degree in each country is different. Although your opinions will likely be different from mine. That is okay. That's completely fine. If this isn't for you at all, that's also completely fine. You can again interpret this in a completely different way. There weren't as many cards as I hoped, but I think that's just, I didn't want to force any cards out, and I didn't want to like pull it out from the top of the deck. I feel like they should just come out naturally if it's meant to come out. And if this is all that would come out, then that would be fine. That just meant that either not many of you would pick this this group, or not many of you are meant to know the answer to the question you're asking. Hi group 3. So for where you're going to meet, again, not many cards wanted to come out for this group. But there are some really beautiful cards here. The Emperor and the Empress. I think that's really amazing that they both came out together. I just think it's really, really amazing. Although this is where they're going to meet, seeing these two cards here makes me want to like just mention how this could be a very destined or a really good match between both of you, because of the Emperor and the Empress is like a perfect fit. Like you're meant to be together. Like the Emperor is meant to be with like, I don't know how to put it, like it just fits really well, almost like a fairy tale kind of thing. And I think I did mention a lot of Disney in your reading, so this could be an almost fairy tale meeting or an almost fairy tale type of relationship. But you can interpret this another way. I do really like seeing the Emperor and the Empress together, although there is the Knight of Swords between them. I'm not using a specific type of spread, so you can interpret that in another way. Maybe there may be some communication. So there may be distance between you that is closed by communication. But again, the question I asked with this was, where are you going to meet? So I don't want to get too off topic, although I did want to mention that really quickly. So right away, excuse me, right away I'm seeing him meeting outside or away from the place you usually spend time, or rather away from the place you're meant to spend time, the place where you're meant to be. So with the emperor and the empress, I imagine them. So with the emperor and empress, and usually kings and queens as well, I do imagine them like having meant to be in their palace, meant to be, yeah, in their palace, in their the building they reside. But because these two are outside, especially with the Queen of Pentacles here, these two are outside. So when I see cards like that, I see it as the place where you're meant to be, you're not there, and maybe that's where you meet. So for example, if you're meant to be at work but you're running late, you may meet that person. That is an example. Another example is, let me think. Yeah, so maybe if you usually spend time at a certain cafe but it's closed and so you go to a different one, that's another example. Or maybe rather it's the place where you usually enjoy spending time, where you meet. But again, with the Knight of Swords in the middle, it does give me a sense of distance. I don't usually interpret cards this way, but I prefer to just go with what my instinct is telling me to say, or what is nudging at what's nudging at me to tell you. That's how I do my readings usually. So also I'm getting a sense of movement. So yeah, as I thought of on the bus, or in a taxi, you meet in a taxi, or again, if they are a taxi driver, I think the chariot was with this group. Or also, it could be when you're both sitting somewhere. I know that's very not too specific, but because I'm seeing all the sitting down, so like except with exception to the Knight of Swords, which is sitting and moving, the rest is just sitting down in place. So I am getting a sense of a meeting somewhere, like a business meeting, or what else do you say, like a cafe probably. So again, with the cafe I mentioned before, but that wasn't again an example. I'm seeing a place where you enjoy your leisure time, and it's somewhere where you sit and enjoy your leisure time. So maybe a cinema, possibly. Although there isn't much detail with these cards. With the Empress card, I'm seeing here the forest. So you may be meeting at a forest. So again, that does kind of go with like the fairy tale kind of aspect of this, because there is this I have with seeing the Emperor and Empress is now giving me a very fairy tale kind of vibes. And I think I mentioned Disney a lot with this group. I think it was this group, maybe it was a different group. You might want to check out another group as well if you want to. It's up to you. Then with the Strength card, I'm thinking gym. I didn't really get any other things apart from gym with the Strength card, but you can think of something else if it comes to mind, and you can comment it. You can comment what else comes to mind when you see these cards. But yeah, with the Strength card, I'm thinking gym. Maybe a place that gives you strength, or maybe you're with someone who inspires you a lot. So like you're seeing an artist who inspires you. You're visiting an artist who inspires you, like the museum, or what else could it be? Or a zoo. Well, I'm not getting that very strongly. Yeah, I'm not getting zoo very strongly, but it could be a zoo, but I'm not getting that very strongly. I'm seeing more, they look very comfortable together. Where could this be? Strength card. Yeah, maybe meeting someone who gives you strength. So like when you meet someone, like when you meet your favorite idol or something, and that's where you meet the person. Then with the Queen of Pentacles here, I usually think of workplace when I see pentacles with a question like this. I'm seeing something you excel at, but I'm also seeing something was given to you. Money, maybe. I keep getting something else. I'm wanting to interpret these as where you're going to meet, but I keep getting other things. Maybe there are other messages I'm supposed to give you. I am seeing a gift of a sort, a really expensive gift. Like he has the world in his hands here, or a ball, which I think usually is the world. So usually that ball would be the world, and here she has the pentacle sign here. So it's making me think of receiving money, although she has the flowers there. So maybe from a lover, or maybe after a show. So like after a show, then because I don't know if this happens in real life, but I like often in movies after a show, then they'd receive flowers from their fans. I am getting outside, so somewhere outdoors. Oh, and with the Emperor, the Knight of Swords looks like he's on a cliff, and with these two here in the clouds, like by the clouds with the clouds in view there, it makes me think of a high place. Now that could be literal, or it could be in terms of stability with the pentacles here. If it's literal, maybe you meet at like the mountains or somewhere high, a tower, or in a high building. Otherwise, you are both in a high place in terms of wealth or career. So, for example, I know this is where, but maybe I forgot what I was gonna say. So maybe when both of you, like a promotion of a sort, ascending in terms of your career with the Queen of Pentacles. So you go from a Queen of Pentacles to like an Emperor or an Empress. So that kind of sense, especially if it's to do with a creative field, because with the stars around her head, it makes me think of being a celebrity or being in the spotlight or being in the public eye. Or so yeah, that could be in terms of your career. So being in a high place in your career, which is when you meet or where you meet at your workplace, where you're when you're in the high place, or literally in the high place. Again, maybe at a race car competition. So just that explains the sitting down. So if they do drive a race car or a taxi, but I'm thinking more race car. If they do drive a race car, maybe that is explains the fast movement of the Knight of Swords and this the like just what's it called? What's the word? I forgot the word now, but they're not moving at all. They're just sitting down in place. So that would explain it. So you're watching a race car competition. Oh yeah, and also I'm seeing here a media company with the Knight of Swords, or some kind of communications company, or a place of communication. So for example, a newspaper company, or what else? So yeah, a place of communication. So yeah, a newspaper company, a media company of some sort, a TV station, a radio station. That could also represent when you're texting. So with the Knight of Swords, attaching its usual meaning with communication and stuff. You could say this is maybe you're in the middle of a text, and that's when you meet that person, or you're in the middle of a call, or a call station. Also with the Emperor and the Empress, I did mention before that they may not be from China, but with this, they may not be from China, but you may meet in China, or an East Asian country. But I'm getting, like, I'm feeling with the cards, I'm interpreting it as China, but I'm not really feeling China. I'm feeling around China, like close to China, but not in China. But interpreting it literally, it would be in China. But how I'm feeling is more around China, or to do with like Chinatown. So not actually in China, but to do with China. So for example, Chinatown, or in a Chinese shop, or a Korean shop, because there's a Korean shop nearby that sells Chinese stuff as well. So it could be that, or it could be maybe a K-pop concert. And I know it's a China, maybe I don't know. I know like K-pop stars travel around, but I haven't really followed any Chinese singers, so I don't really know much about that. But maybe you go to one of the concerts of a Chinese singer, so that could be it. But I am getting China with these cards. I'm not getting in China, but related to China, or a piece of China in another country, like Chinatown. I know there's Chinatown in the UK and in America, and likely other countries as well. So yeah, this is your Where Are You Going to Meet reading. Usually I do a romance oracles card reading as well. So I'm going to do that next. And I just realized I was going to pick up the cards to put these cards back and start shuffling. And I looked at the deck and I saw here the Lover's card at the top. So that was quite interesting. Let's see what's behind it. The King of Cups. So yeah, with the Lover's card here, that was quite interesting to see. So let me check what's at the bottom of the deck. The Five of Cups, which is interesting. So you may meet maybe when one of you is feeling a bit down, or a place around water that makes maybe like a storm. With the Five of Cups, I'm seeing it as maybe like water, but not a pleasant feeling. So like a storm, or maybe something goes wrong with the water in the place you're at. So for example, if it is like a river, maybe the turrets get a bit more wild, or if it is the ocean, for example, you meet at, maybe the waves get a bit more wild, or maybe maybe you're just not feeling the best at a place where you're not feeling your best. That could be it. And with the Lovers card here, that is really wonderful to see with the Emperor and the Empress and the Lovers. It is really making me think of a really destined relationship where you're really meant to be together, where you're a great fit together and you fit really well and you almost complete each other. So like a piece of the puzzle you find. So like a balanced yin and yang. So yeah, now get onto your romance oracle cards. For most groups, I'd ask the question. So these are cards that you got, and for most groups, I'd ask the question, what will your relationship be like with your destined partner? But I kept shuffling the cards, and none of the cards wanted to come out. So I decided to change the question to, what is your what do you need to know about your love life? So these are the cards that came out for that question. So you got attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So all these cards all together give me a sense of healing from trauma, or just healing from, as it says, family issues. Maybe you have some inner work to do. For example, so in my case, for example, and this may not be for you, but in my case, I'd say I am currently healing from, like, still healing, still in the process of healing. But what helped me was I read a lot. I watched a lot of videos by Abraham Hicks and Eckhart Tolle. I think that's how you pronounce it. And those videos really helped me to, first of all, enjoy the moment. So be in the now, enjoy the moment, awareness, the present. That's what Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now teaches. So being in the moment and enjoying every moment, being aware, not being in the past, not being in the future, because you only have this present moment and it only lasts this moment. So it's gone as quickly as it comes, this moment. So you have to enjoy every bit of it. So I think that's what this card is saying here. And make the effort. So that could be maybe in love at the moment, you have to make the effort. Maybe it's with healing, make the effort in healing, or make the effort in enjoying the moment, or it could be maybe make the effort, maybe dress up. If it, like, you don't have to dress up. Not everyone likes wearing fancy clothes, or like basically not everyone likes dressing up or wearing makeup and so on. But this may be for some of you, dress up and go out and have fun. Of course, maybe not right now, but in the future. Although this is for what you need to know about your love life, I think. Yeah, what you need to know about love life. So that's the question I asked for this. And then again, healing family issues. So that's quite straightforward. Maybe spend some time with your parents, or for some of you, or maybe just maybe literally need to heal from family issues or childhood trauma. Maybe, so I'm seeing this. When I first saw these cards, I almost immediately thought Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Make the effort to heal from your issues by being in the now and enjoy this moment fully. Don't let these issues follow you into the future. Don't let these issues taunt you in the present. That's what I'm seeing with these cards. So if this doesn't resonate with you, you can go to another group. Maybe your romance oracle cards reading will resonate more from another group. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'd like to see some of your comments about your interpretations of the cards throughout this reading. Again, thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.